In today's video, we are going to cover the chapter summary of chapter 7. So let's start. Overcoming obstacles. Chapter summary. The five main reasons financially literate people may still not develop abundant cash flow are fear, cynicism, laziness, bad habits, arrogance. Let's look at each of those in detail. Overcoming fear. No one likes to lose money. The only people who have never lost money invested are those who haven't done it. Everyone has the fear of losing money. The difference is how you handle fear and losing. The primary difference between a rich person and a poor person is how they manage that fear. It's okay to be fearful. One way to overcome that is to start early and allow the power of compound interest to work for you. There is a staggering difference between a person who starts saving at age 20 versus age 30. But what if you don't have much time left to invest or want to retire early? Rich Dad recommends thinking like a Texan: win big, lose big. It's your attitude toward that loss that matters. Texans are proud when they win and brag when they lose. In Robert's life, winning has often followed losing. He has never met a rich person who hasn't lost money, but they don't let the fear of that take out of the game. The fall of the Alamo was tragic military defeat, but Texans have turned into a rallying car. Remember the Alamo to spur them on to great victories. Just like the Texans don't bury your losses, be inspired by them. For winners, losing inspires them. By losers, for losers, losing defeats them. John D. Rockefeller once said, I always try to turn every disaster into an opportunity. Even Pearl Harbor was turned from once America's greatest losses to what propelled the nation into becoming a world power. Winners know that failure inspires winning, so why be afraid of failure when it can lead to greatness? Understand that not being afraid of failure doesn't mean you can't still hate failing. Most people play not to lose when they need to be playing to win. And that's why so many people struggle financially. They might have a safe, sensible, and balanced portfolio, but it's not a winning portfolio. They are playing not to lose. A balanced portfolio isn't a bad thing, but it's not going to help you win big. It's not how successful investors play the game. You must be a little unbalanced in the beginning, but you must be focused. Put your eggs in a few baskets and focus. Build your asset column doesn't take hard math, but it does take courage and right attitude toward failure. Overcoming cynicism, whether it's our own self doubt or the doubt of other people in our lives. Often we allow that doubt to keep us from acting. We play it safe and opportunities pass us by. It often takes great courage to not let rumors and talk of doom and gloom affect your doubts and fears. But a savvy investor knows that the seemingly worst of times is actually the best of times to make money. When everyone else is too afraid to act, they pull the trigger and are rewarded. Robert shared the example of a friend who was about to buy an investment condo for a great price but backed out at the last time when a neighbor who wasn't an investor told him it was a bad deal. Had he stayed in it, he wouldn't be doubled his investment and started to get out of the rat race. Robert holds a small portion of his assets in tax line certificate instead of CDs. Others tell him he shouldn't do this, but they are coming from a place of doubt. They have never done it. They are telling someone who is doing it when they shouldn't. The lowest yield Robert looks for is 16%, but people who are filled with doubt are willing to accept a far lower return. Doubt is expensive. Doubts and cynicism keep most people poor. Rich Dad liked to say cynists criticize and winners analyze. Winners keep their eyes open and see opportunities everyone else missed. Real estate is a powerful investment tool for anyone seeking financial independence or freedom. It is a unique investment tool, yet every time Robert mentions real estate as a vehicle, he often hears, I don't want to fix toilets. They focuses on toilet and it keeps them poor. Many people stay out of the stock market because they don't want to lose money, but they are keeping themselves from making money by closing their minds to that investment vehicle. Overcoming laziness. One of the most common forms of laziness is staying busy, too busy to take care of your wealth or your health or your relationship. So, what's the cure? A little greed. That can be hard to hear some because so many of us were raised to see greed or desire as a bad thing. Rather than saying I can't afford it, change your mind to say how can I afford it. That opens the brain and forces it to think of solution. I can't afford it is a lie. The human spirit knows it can do anything. By saying you can't do something, you are creating a conflict between your spirit and your lazy mind. How can I afford it creates a stronger mind and a dynamic spirit. When Robert decided to exit the rat race, he asked, how can I afford to never work again? His mind started kicking out solution, but the hardest part was fighting against the old dogma that tried to instill guilt to suppress such greed. Without that little greed, the desire to have something better, progress is not made. Our world progress because we all desire a better life. New inventions are made because we desire something better. We go to school and study hard because we want something better. Too much greed is bad, but a little can help spur you on. Overcoming bad habits. To be successful, you must develop successful habits. Poor dad always paid everyone else first and himself last, but he rarely had any left over. Rich dad always paid himself first, even if he was short of money. He knew that creditors and government would make a big enough flap if he didn't pay them, that it would motivate him to seek other forms of income to pay them. If he paid himself first, he wouldn't feel that kind of productive pressure, forcing himself to think about how to come up with the extra income to pay the creditors made him fiscally stronger. Overcoming arrogance, Rich Dad said every time he had been arrogant, he had lost money because he thought that what he didn't know wasn't important. Many people use arrogance to hide their own ignorance. Robert was found in discussion with accountants and other investors that they will try to bluster their way through the discussion, and it becomes clear they don't know what they are talking about. Ignorance isn't a bad thing if you react to your own ignorance by educating yourself, by finding an expert in the field. Here we have completed our chapter 7 summary. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye bye.